And can you welcome for 3 more startup CEOs? And firstly, there's a personal story that I'd like to share with you, which is I'm disappointed that I am male. The first 3 CEOs were male, the second 3 CEOs were male, and these last 3 will also be male. That is something that I definitely want to see change. I'm a big believer in diversity for growth, and I think we have to focus more on that. So please, if you do anything when you leave, encourage more women in tech and actually believe in them and help them grow. That's just a personal request from me. There's too many males on stage, my belief. So do welcome to the stage Gawain Morrison from Sensum. Let's have a round of applause for him, as we've been good all the time, as he's shy to come out.
How you doing, my man? Nice to see a beard. How you doing, folks? My name is Gawain Morrison. I'm CEO and co-founder of Sensum. And Sensum is a software solutions company for emotion-based product and output for market research, interactive entertainment, and embedding emotional intelligence into products. This is our 6-year journey. We started doing the world's first emotional response horror film in 2011 that we premiered in South by Southwest. Bearded brother, how are you? And this was to immerse the audience, make a unique cinematic experience for every viewing. This week in Web Summit, we're launching the world's first bi-emotional VR experience that we did with Red Bull Media House. And this is where you can be a Red Bull hero. You can see how it is to feel and be that person and see a heads-up display of bi-emotional content. And during this 6 years, we've measured and responded to emotions across 20 different countries, from the Pacific Rim to the Arctic Circle, online, at home, in retail, planes, trains, automobiles. And our patent-pending emotion AI tech underpins the work that we've done with these guys and many others. To personalize engagement, to enhance customer experiences, to understand your customers. We're emotional beings. Well, you might not be, psycho. We respond to emotional stimulus. Somebody cuts you up in a car, yeah! Somebody comes over, gives you a hug, you get a big warm, squeeze a bit harder, and smile. And what you're seeing there is a response to a stimulus. So you measure this with voice, face, biometric, sentiment. And for us in Sensum, we don't care. We have a unified model for measuring emotions. We'll take the data streams in, respond to them in real time. This is the Growth Summit, after all. So interestingly, for us, seeing the curve of curiosity into education, into problem identified, to solution, across different verticals that we've worked with, it's been very slow in some instances. Marketing tech being one of them, but they're starting to catch up. But this sector, mobility, they're rattling through those phases faster than we've ever seen before. Unbelievable speed, and that's across everything that we do, from research to interactive entertainment and brand activation and into OEM solutions. For us, it doesn't really matter. The future is empathic human-machine interfacing, be that for hardware, for software, for experiences. Build a trusting relationship, build a trusting digital society. Future is emotional, folks. The future is Sensum.
That's yours. Thank you very much, Gawain. And the speaker schedule at Web Summit is extremely busy, so this last set of startup founders I've not had the chance to meet. So firstly, can I just have a quick round of applause for Gawain's beard and sunglasses? You think you've seen it all. So next up is Ashwaya Singh to talk about DriveZ. Welcome to the stage with a round of applause.
Hi, everyone. We are a peer-to-peer vehicle rental platform back in India. It's called DriveZ. We are a company which is backed by Google, Y Combinator. We have raised $16 million till date. Our business model is very simple. We connect car owners to the customers. Why does it work very well in India? The fundamental problem is that people don't own a car. In US, where 80% adults own a car, in India, only 7% own a car. So we are providing them a different model of car ownership in principality. This is one of the major aspects why everyone loves to share their car in India. It's like you're giving them an opportunity to earn $500 per month. And guess what's their primary source of income? It's around $300. For the first time in the whole world, you have a primary source of income which is less than your secondary income. We are currently present in 6 cities in India. We are growing 12% month on month. We have more than 25,000 monthly rentals. In short, our business makes cash from everywhere. It's our consumers who get it at a lesser cost. Our partners earn more than $500. We take 25% on each ride. Why are people motivated to list cars on our platform? I guess we double their average income. We have a proprietary IoT device which monitors the driving behavior. So when we started this company, we got to know the problem that people are scared to share their car to someone whom they don't know or they don't trust. So we built this device which could measure the trust between the leaser and leasee. This is a summary. We have grown 12% for the last 3 years. We take 25% margin on our car rentals. We are currently doing $1 million per month in GMV. Thank you.
And for all those investors in the audience, you may have noticed that Ashwaya did say they make cash from everywhere. That's a compelling pitch to any investor. So the last person we have up on stage is Alejandro Artacho from Spotahome. Big round of applause for Alejandro.
What? Okay, cool. Awesome. Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alejandro Artacho. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Spotahome. So what we have is an online booking platform for long-term rentals. It's anything that is beyond 1 month. So we are having rentals for several months of years. And actually how it started, it was like basically we were thinking about the short-term rentals and all you got in the market. You know, you have very big players. You have Booking.com, Expedia, HomeAway, Airbnb and all these guys. But then when you go to long-term rentals or mid to long-term rentals, what do you have in the market? So usually, well, it's not showing, but well, anyways, so when you go to the long-term rentals, all you get in the market is traditional classified websites, traditional real estate agents. So then you gotta go, be calling the landlord, being and going and see the properties in person. But then we were thinking, okay, if in the short-term rentals, people are booking accommodation without seeing the property, maybe they do so in the long-term rental. So basically what we did was sending local people that we call home checkers. So they go with one of these t-shirts and then they go in and they do video tours in first person. It's kind of a video game. So it shows you around, opening the drawers, the fridge, the windows, showing you everything. Then we do 360 tours and floor plans. And by that, we launched the website in March 2014 in Madrid with 9 properties, and then we got the first booking in less than 2 hours from a Japanese guy who booked for a year and a half, and then we were like, oh shit, the Japanese is in Japan or where he is, and actually he was in Madrid. That was the coolest thing, and they were like, okay, may this change actually the market, and people are gonna book accommodation for long term without seeing them. So since then, now in 3 years and a half, we are in 9 countries in Europe. We are also in Dubai. Then we reached in GMV now more than $70 million. In the last 6 months, actually, we equal the same GMV that in the previous 3 years. We have 200 people in Madrid, and then we have 100 contractors around Europe going and checking the properties, plus copywriters. We passed 3 million nights booked through the site. We are growing now at 250% year on year. So from 18 million GMV last year, we are hoping to close this year somewhere between 50 and 60 million euros. Then we raised total $25 million in 4 rounds from investors from Europe, Latin America, and US. And then probably we are going to be raising soon in the next few months in 2018. And yeah, just go into global domination and revolutionize real estate industry. Our mission is to reinvent real estate, making it transparent, instant, and exciting. So hopefully we are going to digitalize the whole real estate industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro. So we've had makes cash everywhere and then global domination. And all of you couldn't see the franticness going on to try and get the slides up on, which we did 10 seconds before you finished. But you did a great job of speaking without them. So we'll touch on a beard growth in a second, because I can see we're all doing that, and I see there's a very popular beard at the back there. But why do you do what you do, Gawain? Because I'm a passionate believer in emotion and how that influences growth. Do you see any barrier to that? Do people believe it? Do they think it's a bit fluffy?
No, I don't think anybody sees it as fluffy. Just that the education curve of really there's a technology that can do it, and now we're in an age of it, and then it slowly goes into. It doesn't actually slowly, it very quickly goes into that. It either creeps me out or what can I do? That's kind of cool. And then it's like, well, who's getting the data? Where's it going? Who's ethically using it? Are you ethically using it? So it very quickly goes to you're invading me and now I want to take that back. And that's actually very core to what we do as a company. We see that as absolutely central, as a central tenet to the new age of empathic interfacing.
I completely agree, and if you follow the inevitable trends of technology, emotion and how people feel about it, if you can tell people how their customers feel, that's a hugely impactful thing as well. So Alejandro, why do you do what you do?
Sorry?
Why do you do what you do, other than global domination? Why do you do it?
Well, basically, since this is actually my fourth venture, so well, I've been always obsessed about making the world a little bit smaller. I lived in China for 3 years, and I had a business that I was getting Chinese people into Europe. And then after that, actually, I launched another site with one of my co-founders. He's here. And it was about international jobs. And basically, I couldn't understand why there were barriers in the world. And then you didn't know where you had more chances to work, and then you had like political barriers or visa stuff, and I never trusted in that. I believe that the whole planet is a single home that we are all sharing, and we should have equally rights to be anywhere in the world. So that's actually my mission, and I think Sport@Home, it's an instrument to actually make the world a little bit smaller.
I think every time I hear this passion like that, I think you might actually achieve global domination. So go easy. Let me know. I'm a friend when you do. So Ashwaya, you're pushing at what I think is an inevitable trend in the technology world, peer-to-peer usage of cars. What are the big barriers to growth of that? Surely it's a huge market to play into in India.
The biggest barrier to growth is trust between people. It's like when you're sharing stuff, if you don't trust the other guy, it is bound to fail in long term. So I guess sharing economies is going to pivot to a trust economy, and the company which builds trust between its customers is going to win. So from day one, when we started this company, our focus was how to build trust between everyone around us. As a company, we know that the technology curve, which used to change every 10 years, it's happening every 3 years now, and we need to be on war footing to make sure that we survive.
And we just had a blockchain panel before these three. So how do you create digital trust?
So for the first time, I guess we have launched an entire blockchain platform where investors around the globe can see how our cars are performing on a real time. They can see the rent, the customers, everything digitally encrypted in blockchain. So that has built trust in our whole system, and it's easy for any investor to put money in. So I guess social capital is trying to do this model right now, but we have already implemented it 2 months back.
And then to you, Alejandro, before we come back to you, Gawain, what do you do about trust? Because renting homes for the provider or the stayer, I know I have my house on Airbnb, and it's a difficult thing, a strange thing that you trust someone based on a star rating. How do you do trust?
Yeah, totally. I remember when we started, we were having like a very old blackboard and saying which is the biggest core value. And it's actually, we say we trust in trust. And at the beginning, we were like, okay, how do we build that in long-term rentals when people are going to commit for 1 year or 2 years contract without seeing the property? And that's why we thought about sending humans to humans for now. No, but to every property, because if you think about real estate websites, you never see a person there, never. So then we were thinking, it would be amazing if millions of people in the world actually can see a person really showing you the property. So then, actually, we always say that we are the only real estate platform with 0 scams as we check every single property. And then not only that, but also we have a live chat in which 24/7 you have people from different nationalities just chatting with the potential tenants. So that human touch, I think, is very cool in the digital products.
Love to see how you managed to automate that human touch. It's a very difficult thing to replicate. And speaking about humans, and Gawain, how big is your company now? And then what was the most difficult size of company when you were growing? Or was it all just fantastic?
In terms of clients or in terms of
No, so
company?
employees.
Oh, no, so we're 25 people. And for us, really, it was at the early stages trying to do everything. I think actually, I'd like to just answer that trust question, if you don't mind. Because actually, I think in the emotion space and everything that we're doing with emotions, it's very, very important that you understand that it's a relationship and it's trust. And if you are an unpleasant person in real world, then you're not going to want to hang out with me, or I'm not going to want to hang out with you. And it's a relationship of that. Whenever you are in a digital space, it's exactly the same. If you're not very pleasant, well, then why am I going to hang out with you? And in an age of digital, empathic, and emotional tech, whether you're a brand or whether you're a person-to-person or a peer-to-peer or a car-to-car or whatever it happens to be, then it's going to be very important that you just develop a trusting relationship, and that's that.
Again, I do believe that as you go around Web Summit, digital trust and how you trust peer-to-peer is going to be the next evolution and enable pretty much all the businesses. Or in fact, emotion will enable digital trust. Blockchain is a technology that can do that, but the emotion behind it. So 25 people in your company. The early stages, is that when it felt most awkward? Is that when growth was hard?
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know yourself, if you're starting up a company, you're doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs, and then you're trying to convince the clients to come with you. So I think when you're doing something that's somewhat on the edge of where we are, and you've gone from bleeding edge to being quite hot topic, when you're bleeding edge, you find yourself strained. I think that's the best way.
Bleeding edge with a small amount of people is a tough place to be. And Ashwaya, same to you. How many employees do you have now, and which is the most awkward stage for you?
I guess we have around 160 employees. The good thing about our company is we have not seen more than 2 people leave our company in the entire 3-year period. We went through a period where we were without cash for 6 months. We went into a debt of $500,000, but none of them left. So I guess the first 5 set of employees are the most critical and the important one. They are the one who drive your company after it. So I guess that was the first phase of getting people on board was the most challenging one.
And how does your company feel now at 160 versus 5? Does it feel different?
So it's like, in fact, I don't know half of them. So it's like we have grown at a very fast pace in the last 8 or 9 months, but there is set pattern where we don't hire beyond our first referral. So either I know it or my colleagues know that person through first reference, otherwise we don't hire. So we are a very strongly knitted community, which we intend to take it until unless we grow too big where we have to change our rules.
And it's interesting, 160 is about the time where any growth beyond that, it's very hard to maintain the culture of when you first started. And I think it's a very difficult thing. So Alejandro, how do you, as a leader, how do you create that growth culture in your business?
Yeah, well, it's a very tough question. So we have 200 people now. It's over 30 different nationalities in the team. So actually we were asking ourselves, because it's been like in 3 years, actually, we put that number up. So we grew very fast, and then I think the most important thing is determining what is your mission and keeping repeating that. So asking everyone, so everyone knows your question, why are we doing what we are doing? And then having very strong core values, repeating the core values constantly. Then we are a very customer-centric company. So every time we leave an experience that is amazing with a customer, we always share that. So now, for example, we do tournaments about core values and give core values awards. So basically, if you are doing stuff that reflects many core values, then you get an award. Small things like that, and then having, being yourself constantly, and not caring very much what people actually think about you, and taking care about the people, I think. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And 200, you're right on the cusp of that. It gets hard to maintain that core value. So very quickly, just the final points from you. People talk a lot about tipping point. But what was the moment, if you can be very quick about it, where you realized, oh shit, this is a thing, it's going to be big? Gawain, when was that moment for you?
It's been actually in the last 12, 18 months as the mobility sector has exploded, autonomous driving, disruption like we've not seen. And really that was the big crank it up. Here we go. This could be exploding.
And Ashwarya, for you, what was at that moment?
So I guess we take it in a different way. We think we need to build processes from day one. And if we have the process in place, we could scale up to any limit which we want to. So we do keep checking our processes whenever we grow to a certain limit, but there's no certain set of rules for us. It's just the processes which we focus on.
And then Alejandro, when was that realization moment?
Yeah, we are a very optimistic team. So it was actually in the first booking from the Japanese guy, and then I remember climbing a column that it was in the office space, and then we were like, this is going to be big, and it's going to change things.
Yeah, I can see you're a very optimistic guy, Alejandro. So I think that's it. We've all we had time for. So that's been an hour with me about growth. I think I've taken away bet big, but test small. I've also heard about passion and growth culture. I've heard about digital trust being very important. I agree with Gawain that not only are beards incredibly important and also sunglasses indoors, but emotion is going to be core to everything we do. And I hope you've taken away that passion is what drives growth more than anything. So thank you very much for your patience. And can you give these last three a round of applause?